watch TV and charge my phone kind of
thing. Okay, now this is what Bob did. He had these out at Palo Verde. They threw away these electric 6-volt big-ass batteries that they had. And he just took them and tried to refurb, and you do this pulsing to try and desulfate the panels, or, it's a charging thing. It's a reconditioning or whatever. So he put a bunch of them in there, gets those reconditioned. Then he would charge them at night when the power costs went way down. So it's like, 2 in the morning to 5 in the morning, whatever like that. He'd charge them, and then he would use that energy during the day, to kind of offset, and it would save him energy, save power. He's like, all right, I can do that. He's playing with that. Well, he had these batteries. He takes them out there, but when you're using them every day and the home usage, it goes up and down, up and down, up and down. They get to where they're for crap. So how many times have you changed out and you went deep cycle, marine battery, blah, blah. You went through, over the decade and a half, you went through a bunch of different batteries.
Yeah, Tell us about that. I think I did the golf cart battery like 3 times. I hit my batteries pretty hard because I've got a big heavy load and it was a small storage. And so I probably, at least 3 times I did the golf cart battery thing. And I got tired of it. As I was getting up in age, I said, I'm not going to want to be crawling down in a 12-foot deep hole and swapping out a couple thousand pounds of lead-acid batteries. So I started doing a little research on it and came upon nickel-iron batteries. And everything I read about them seemed like, at the time, that technology, I guess it's an old technology, but nobody had been using it forever. But at the time, it was, probably the best technology out there for, long-term battery forever use. Don't, have to go down in the hole when you're an old man changing battery stuff. So I went and purchased some nickel-iron batteries, and I've been pretty happy with them. They've worked pretty well for me. I can't even think I probably have had those batteries 10 years now. Like I say,
has it been that long?
I hit my batteries pretty hard, and they still seem, To
refurb them, all you got to do is you pump out the electrolyte, potassium hydroxide, of which I got a bunch, by the way. I did for my stuff. You have that, and you change out the electrolyte, and they're like new again.
Yeah, they're not an acid battery. They work on the other end of the pH scale. They're a base battery, and most of the chemical reaction all takes place in the electrolyte. It doesn't really take place in the plates. And that's what happens with lead-acid batteries. You cycle them enough, eventually the plates start to break down. So they have a limited life cycle.
That's why lead-acid batteries for your car in Arizona last maybe a year and a half.
Yeah.
Now, you're always changing out battery because of the heat. Now, there are new battery tech. I don't know why they haven't done lithium-ion for starting car stuff, because you get this little starter, jump start. It's the size of a phone charger, and you put it on, you jump start your car. I first saw that, I'm going, what the hell is that? So when we did the carbon nanotube make, and I could show that, we can still do that, but the technology has gotten further, and I like the carbon nanotube for some other stuff I want to do. I've taken, you make this, you put them in the ABS plastic, and you make your own filament for doing your 3D printing, and it's freaking rock hard, super strong. I'm going to use it for that, making me some precarious stuff. So anyway, there's a lot of things, the tech and things that we've experimented with and do. And when I have time, I need to get out. Time is our shortcoming. And Bob, when he finally retired and had some time, it got filled up.
Yes, it did.
So now you replace the batteries, and you're looking at other tech for battery. What do you think you'll go to next time?
I've been doing, again, I'm not pressed up against the wall for anything because the nickel iron are still doing pretty well. But I was thinking I probably will go with some sort of lithium battery. They get the pure lithiums they were using, like in the Teslas and all that. Their charge discharge cycle, the voltage on either end of the scale, is not really conducive to the equipment that's out there for the renewable energy stuff. It's always geared toward lead acid kind of batteries, but they have a chemistry that's out there is lithium iron oxide and iron phosphate, lithium iron phosphate batteries. They tend to mimic lead acid batteries over the charge discharge cycle. Right, really close, and they have a really good cycle life on them. So I'm thinking next time I do that, that's probably going to be
there's
investment
a lot
money.
Of options now. I'm in lithium metal hydroxide batteries. It's like you could run your house on. It's the size of a freaking car battery, and I'm going, yep, here we go. So it's time. There's enough. There was another one that you took a shipping container, and it was just PVC and tanks and whatever, and it was a iron oxide battery or something. I said, remember me sending you that? And it was, and when you wanted to change the electrolyte, you just water your plants with it, and it gives it some iron, and it's biodegradable. You just water your lawn with it, and it's no toxic chemicals or anything. You do it, but it takes up a lot of space. So it's one of those. It's not super expensive, but it's kind of it's bulky, and it's low tech. But there's so many of these things going pirate. Woo! When you get off the grid, and we're not off the grid, we're above the grid. So I don't want people to even know what's up and what. So now we're looking at water. So that was one of the things that Bob, when he had all this water, when it rained, there's been years of water going off my property, So one of the low spots out there, just dug a hole, put in some cement board or something, and you never really quite finished it. You just want to test and see how much of what. Tell people what you were doing there and how much more water you need to do your orchard out there and not have to do it all off the well.
Well, again, you sit there and having been living on the property and you observe the way Mother Nature wants it to go, and you don't try to fight Mother Nature. You can see where all the little, the quarter-inch deep, foot-wide little rivulets of water all come together and basically run off the property. You go down to the lower end of the property, and we just dug a big hole and let the water kind of collect there. The idea was eventually to be able to take that water and put it at the tanks I have at the high end of the property, just for storage. Because like you say, there is plenty of water there. It just kind of, you guys got to be ready for when it comes in the 30 minutes that it's coming. You just got to be able to collect it all. And there's other ways of doing that. You can, terrace your land. There's French drains where, excuse me, where you of big trees and so on. He'd dig these ditches, and he put the big logs and everything in there, a little mycelium, some mushrooms and so on, to break it down, and you cover it with dirt, and then you kind of make a little hill to direct where the water goes, and the trees and all that wood soaks up the water